seems to me there's something extraordinary going on in Barrie, Ontario. No one seems to know exactly what I need to go. I have to say, like, after listening, because you have, what, about 3 releases under your belt now, because you had Absolutely Who, you had your Live at Papoose, and then you had Change Divides.
I like how different people pronounce it differently.
What is it supposed to be?
Oh, it's just like Papu, you know, like it's like Papa, but then Papu. You know, that's like the whole, like, well, okay, so like the whole story. Well, it's not really a story, but the whole thing was we would call. I had a phase where I called everyone Daddy, like no matter who it was, I would just be like, "Sup, Daddy," but then he Zach, who was like the engineer and it was his basement. I kept calling him Daddy, but he hated it and he absolutely despised it. I was like, all right, what do you want me to call you? Like Poppy? And so then we called him Poppy for a long time, but he hated that too. So I was like, well, what about Papu? And so we just call him Papu and he loved that. So we just like, the name just stuck and we just ran with it for like the rest.
For people who don't know Absolutely You, or they haven't had the opportunity to see you play live, haven't heard your music yet, how would you describe yourself to somebody who has never heard you before?
Who wants to answer that one?
Jimbo?
I would say, I don't know. We're very energetic on stage. I'm very proud of our live performance. We give everything we can, and I think that shows in our live performance, and I hope that it comes across. I think it does in our recorded music, and I don't know, more than that, really.
No secret that I think that like our recorded music is very raw, and especially with like the Change Divide stuff, we wanted it to be, we like all those recordings were done, like the 3 of us playing those instruments and singing, and then we just do overdubs later of like any like errors, but for the most part, like those were live takes that we just like smoothed out rather than doing individual takes of each instrument and trying to find the best one. Like especially Depression Apps. I mean, like I cried and complained for like months about like I want to do another vocal take, like I want to sit in a booth like and just do the vocal take without having like the piano or having any other instruments, but everyone like Zach, who was doing the production on it, and Alex and James were like, no bro, like this was the take that was live in the room, like this is the emotion in that moment, right?
Yeah.
And you can't recreate that.
You can hear the chatter of the rest of the studio kind of discovering that he started playing, and then it trickles out, and we're like, oh, he's doing his take. Okay.
Well, yeah, because
we wanted to keep that sort of the situation
moment
of the where we were at and bring it into the record.
It's the most obvious on Depression Apps, but I feel like we wanted it to be to flow throughout all of the songs on that EP. We wanted every song to feel very raw, very in touch emotionally, because we're all very like emotional people, I feel like, and so we wanted that to come across very viscerally. And I feel like that's just the most obvious on Depression Apps.
What are the influences that you brought into like your first album and into your second one?
Sure. I think with the first album was done in my basement and done with like just 2 microphones. That's all we had. And it was all done essentially with no help from anybody else. So we just we worked on it ourselves. We had I think there was a little bit of Radiohead here. There was a little bit of
there was a lot of Royal Blood at the time.
Royal Blood. What's the other one that I'm thinking? There's some different ones, guys. I can't think.
Well, I guess like context is everything. That time for me was what, like 2017, 2018, like summer, winter, summer again. I had spent like a year or two learning guitar, and that was it. Like, I had barely learned guitar. I think I touched drums for the first time on Memento.
While recording.
While recording it. So it was very at the time, Alex and I we had met in grade 10, and we spent like a year or two experimenting on just like, I didn't know how to play a single instrument, he knew how to play several instruments, and he had like a recording studio. It was like a really crummy computer and a mixing board, and we just spent like all of our time, because we were losers, like heavy losers in high school. At least I was, and Alex was semi. We just like spent all of our time in his basement just recording demos, recording like weird experimental stuff that we because we didn't know what we were doing, we didn't know what the status quo was, so we just play whatever. And then somehow Alex and James met, and they came into the mix of that, and they had just, I think, gotten out of their previous band because for creative differences. And so then they were looking for like a third guy, and I came in, and then we just spent like a year just in like Alex's basement hanging out, doing whatever kids do in high school, you know, and writing music, just like whatever we knew, right?
Yeah, I think that really the whole idea of the first record was figuring out the sound, figuring out the influences, and kind of not caring too much about the cohesiveness of it.
I mean, to give you a perspective, like, Laws of Obsession was written by Alex alone in a basement, and when it was finished, James and I looked at it and went, "We want this on the EP," and that was it. Like, we had no. I think James had played drums on it, but that was the like, he had played drums on it because Alex didn't know how to play drums, and then that was the only collaboration of that song. So like, and then we were just like, put it on the record, screw it, like, who cares? And the final line is like a blues, and I didn't even know what a blues was. I was like 16, and I was like, what's a blues? Like, I remember distinctly for like weeks, I had James and Alex try to tell me what a blues was, because I didn't know.
Feeling.
Yeah, they're like this Royal Blood's a blues, but then also Jimi Hendrix's blues, then also John Mayer's blues. I'm like, I don't what? And so now I'm more well versed in the blues, but at the time, man, I didn't know anything.
So if anything, absolutely who was, we didn't know what we wanted to be or how to be good. We were just making it for the sake of it. And then Change Divides was a situation of, okay, I think we kind of figured out a little more of what we want to do. And then let's just go forward into psychedelic-ish.
Every release, I'm more and more proud of what I do, and I'm slightly more proud of my recent baby. It's like their newborn is like the new hotness. It's like, yes, look at my new child. The old one's cool, but like, look at this one.
Is there something you want to talk about? Like, is your family dynamic?
I have a lot of daddy issues. All right, like,
we found out, yeah. If somebody wanted to summon the spirit of Nick or Jim or Alex, and they had to play one album, what album is it that's going to summon you?
If I'm going to choose between my two favorite albums in the world, it's going to be Songs for the Dead, or Songs for the Deaf, my bad, by Queens of the Stone Age. That was one of the first albums I had ever heard, ever. And it is still my favorite album, and I still hear new things, and it's been the biggest influence on the way I play and think about music. And just like personality wise, I just relate to it a lot.
Probably In Rainbows by Radiohead.
Still, yeah.
Good answer.
Most definitely. I mean, I think I have to go like Kid A, right? I feel like Kid A is Kid A by Radiohead is also like my. I take everything from that. I think like everything that I do and will ever do will like has Kid A in it. Like, no matter what, like no matter where I go, no matter what I do, like, it's always gonna be Kid A.
So there you go. Absolutely you. 2 parts Radiohead, 1 part Queens of the Stone Age.
Wait, that's so true. That's actually accurate.
You
That
finally
actually makes-
figured it out.
That's
We've been
that's
searching like how to describe our sound, and it's that.
two
If you had to choose one of your songs to try and hook somebody into listening to you, what song is it going to be?
I feel like there's
Black
a correct
Hole.
answer. Yeah.
Black hole. Black
I mean,
hole.
Black Hole works. It's got
I
all
love
of the
the
tropes
energy.
of
Yeah.
Absolutely You.
Hmm.
I think the correct answer though is like Deep Sea Diver Find the Line. Like, that's the correct answer, but that's not the answer that I want. Like that's not the answer I would go with.
I disagree that there is a correct answer in the first place. Especially considering Change Divides being a more recent album
That's true.
or EP, and we're kind of coming from there more so than we're coming from the Find the Line and the Deep Sea Diver. So if I were to choose any song, it would at least be off of Change Divides.
Everyone.
So what is the future of Absolutely You? What can we expect from you in 2021 or in 2022 if it's going to take that long?
Well, something that we always did like in the past and that I've always been like really hyped about and proud of is that every live show we change the set list, but we always add songs that are currently being written or that are not finished yet. And that's how we kind of like workshop and hash out ideas is we just play them live a million times, even though they're not on a record or no one knows them. We're still just going to play them because we want to. And so then because we've had so much time without playing shows, we have so many songs that no one has heard other than like maybe like our girlfriends or like our close friends. So we have these like this catalog of like 7 or 8 songs that like no one has heard yet that are like significantly like 10 times better than anything we've released thus far. And I'm just like, it's just like so frustrating to me to like have music that I think is like the best music I have created thus far and not have anyone hear that.
Absolutely You. We're getting close to the end of the episode, and something that we always do is I want you to shout out some local bands or bands that people should be listening to while they're stuck at home, but more importantly, they should just be listening to because they're awesome.
Bro, Mile End is where it's at. I still don't know like where they're from. Bradford. I think they're from Bradford. I swear they're from Bradford. And if I got that wrong, like DM me, and I'm so sorry. They're sick. They're amazing. Underrated. Like one of the most underrated bands in Ontario. Period. I don't care. I speak in hyperboles exclusively. And then definitely Mount Mural. They're absolute beautiful human beings. I love their brains.
Crast as well.
Crast.
Very awesome humans.
Very, very amazing. Cudbear.
Huh?
Cudbear, of course.
Cudbear, of course.
We love their homies.
Sades.
The Sades are.
The Sades, of course.
Of
They're
course.
beautiful, beautiful.
Beautiful. Talon's a gorgeous man.
Not that I care. They don't have
Not that I
any
care.
music release, but watch out.
Before we say goodbye, I have to ask you another favor. Give us a song to play us out on. Give us one of your tracks as the credits roll. Which one is it going to be?
Should it be a vote? Should we make a unanimous decision?
I want to say Black Hole or just to do it, Depression Naps Reprise.
Oh! I'm actually kind of down for Depression After Surprise. I think we should do Depression After Surprise.
That's what we're going to do? The Depression Apps reprise? Is it reprise or reprise?
I think that's entirely up to like you because the reprise is like a real thing. Like it's one thing for Papu, which is a made up word for people to mispronounce it because it's like it doesn't exist anyway. But a reprise or a reprise is like a thing. So it's just who am I to? It's like pasta and wait no.
Pasta.
Truly tomato.
It's truly
That kind of
Awesome.
the most definitely Depression After Surprise.
All right, so Nick, Alex, Jim, Absolutely You. Thank you so much for joining us, taking a little bit of time. I can't wait to see you live again. Thank you for all the music so far. I'm looking forward to more music. And for everybody watching, here's Depression Naps, reprise, tomato.